A very big welcome to garden discovery in my own California garden for the June garden tour. You see, I do this crazy thing every spring. I leave my garden. I know it's crazy, but it's the best time for me to take my yearly trip to Ireland. And so I go. I drop everything and I just go and I leave it all behind. And I come back to clean up my messes, and it happens every year. And one of the reasons why I plan a garden party in June is so that I get off my butt and get the cleanup done. And it gets done faster. So yeah, I do another crazy thing and I plan a June garden party. So it's coming up in 1 week and I've got a week to get things finished up here and looking good. Even as I speak, I'm walking around in the garden and I'm looking at all my plants and seeing what needs to be done, and there's still so much to do. But there's so many shining stars in the garden right now, and I'm going to point those out to you as we go. But look at the gladiolas. So pretty. When I came back, the garden was just full of poppies and cornflowers, but most of them were already done and they hadn't been deadheaded, so they kind of took their course and were ready to be pulled. I thinned through those and left a few for the color. The poppies are really vibrant, and the cornflowers too. And I like to leave a few of the cornflowers to go to seed for the birds for a while. The status in the garden is looking lovely, really bright and cheery. And I say this every year, I want more status next year. And so I add a few status plants every year to the garden, and they're just long-lasting bloomers, and I really like status a lot. And I'm really happy with the way the middle garden has turned out. It's held up really well, and the purple fountain grass is coming back, and I love those deep, rich tones. And look at this spurge. It's one of the plants that I got from the fall Master Gardener sale, and it's doing really great. It looks great. That contrast with the purple fountain grass is lovely. It's just beautiful. I love that color. And I couldn't get the camera to focus here, but it's Mediterranean spurge. And I really, really love this plant. In fact, all the plants that I've planted from the fall Master Gardener sale have done really well in the garden. And I'm going to show you some more in a bit here. These are some of the Costco finds and things I planted a couple months ago. This is a pink star jasmine. And here is a spotted calla lily and some clematis that's not doing very well. That's the story of my life. Isn't this beautiful? That's a spotted calla lily and really pretty. And candy tuft, Indian blanket flowers. They're really long-lasting bloomers and they love the heat. So I'm happy they came back up this year. And here's a sweeping view of the garden. And you can see in the distance there, my Japanese maple. I adore that thing. I hope it continues to do well because I love it to death. And I've already visited Maribel at Iron Pony Nursery, and I've looked at some more. And I told her there's one that I really want that's a bright green that turns to orange as the season goes on. So I'm saving up my money for that baby. The nasturtium love this back wall because it gets a lot of shade compared to the other parts of the garden, which, as you know, are mostly all sun right now. Until the plants that I put in, the trees and the shrubs get a little bit bigger, I'm not going to have a lot of shade. And I saved some of my poppy and cornflowers and put them in a pile here so that I can take the seeds off and save the seeds for next year. And this, yeah, that is all the work I've done right there in the compost pile, pulling out things. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. And the birdhouses are looking lovely still against the fence. Hidden in there because the wisteria is growing like a weed. I'm going to have to get in there and chop that back because it's just overgrowing. And look at this. Oh my gosh. This torch cactus. Oh, wow. Those blooms are amazing. So as you see, I did leave some cornflowers. Those are the tall plants on the left-hand side, just for some color and so the birds can get the seed and enjoy the seed. Here's some more canna lilies that I have that I'll be moving out into the garden soon and hoping to get some blooms on those this year. Some more Gladiola. And in the right-hand corner, those pink, that is what's left of my sweet peas. Yeah, the sweet peas didn't do so well this year. Probably would have been better had I been home, but that is what it is. Now, let me just move this Clarkia that's about 6 feet tall out of the way, and we'll take another peek around the back part of the garden and the cactus patch. I've got a lot of work to do in there. And those pink bright flowers are the rock purslane. I'm going to need to get in there and just deadhead all of those. That's going to be a big chore. Ooh, they're a lot of work. And look at this beauty. Look at this fan aloe in the bloom. So gorgeous. I love that. My aloes are great bloomers, and I've got several in bloom right now in the garden, and they're gorgeous. Here on the left is another torch cactus, and look at the bloom. So pretty. These were pieces that I had cut off of the big cactus patch and just let the ends dry and stuck them in the ground, and lo and behold, more bloomers. It's great to have these cactus in the garden. They have some of the most vibrant blooms of all plants on earth. I love them. These are some of the cornflowers that I left for the birds to collect the seeds. So I'll let those go to seed for another week probably. I'll pull them out right before my garden party, unless they're still blooming well. Every year I get self-seeders, and I believe these are sunflowers, so it'll be interesting to see how those do back there. And here's just a little look at the back part of the hillside project. Got some weeding to do there. And this is my favorite little pot right now. This yucca with the sedum growing in it. Really pretty. I love it. And around the spiral, I've got a lot of things growing still, and it's good to have some color in there. I'm loving the big leaves of the canna and calla lilies. They just add a different shape, different texture to the garden. Really pretty, and I'm really excited about those. This is my one hollyhock, and it's really stunning. I love the color. So pretty and perky. Here's another plant I got from the Fall Masters Gardener sale. It's doing really well. It's a lion's tail, and this is going to get pretty big and have orange flowers, and excited about that too. As I said, all of the plants that I've bought from the Master Gardeners have done really well in the garden. You can see what's remaining in the middle of the spiral is the toadflax, and I just need to take that out. I got half of that spiral done, and that's what's left to do, so I got to get in there this week and take that out. I also need to get in there and trim back that lavender, deadhead it. I did the ones in the spiral already, and they usually come back even stronger when you do that. The Asiatic lilies are looking really pretty. And let's get in there and check on that clematis because, we'll see. Fingers crossed again. I don't have luck with clematis. It's just one of those plants that just doesn't want to survive for me. But I keep trying because I really love climbers. I want tons of climbers in my garden, but so far, not happening. But I keep trying. You got to try. Now here's a tip for you. If you have plants that you don't want watered, put ribbons on them. Bright color ribbons, and believe these were bright when they started. They were orange and the sun faded them to yellow. But this way Rigo, who came once a week to water, knew not to water that one and that one because I had ribbons tied on them, and I had communicated to him ahead of time not to water those with ribbons on them. The Opuntia cactus looks like it's going to bloom soon, so that's exciting. And that is the plant that my neighbor Manson gave me. And so that's going to get really big, and excited for that. Love the future of the garden. Here's another look at my beautiful Japanese maple. Thank you, Maribel and Ed. I love this plant so much. So pretty. Such a great add to the garden. I trimmed back most of my salvias this week, and I did a video on that if you want to see how I did that. But there's a few that I still need left to do, like the one that you just saw. And this is one of the sweet peas that's still surviving. Got a little bloom there. And this is a succulent pot that really needs some attention. I need to redo that, and it's going to look pretty when I do, because I've got a lot of succulents that are primed and ready to take cuttings off of and put in there, and I'll make it look really nice. I'm just waiting with these artichokes to see if I get some flowers. I'm waiting for them to flower, and I'm hoping that they do. So that's why they're still there and haven't been cut back. And here's some liatris. I'm excited. That's a new plant for me. I'm not going to lie, this bed looks horrible except the poppies and the birdhouse. Look at this birdhouse, the rooftop. The succulents are just doing great, and they hang in there. And I don't know, it's probably been 10 months since I did that now. Yeah, this whole bed needs to be redone. And I'm told that cactus there bloomed while I was gone. My aunt sent me a picture. And look at this. The salvias, these are my oldest salvias, and they're doing great. They're just so full and blooming, and the hummingbirds love them. Absolutely beautiful. Love hot lips salvia. And all of my hardy aloes are putting on these beautiful, beautiful blooms, and the show is amazing. Look at that bright yellow. If you have a climate where you can grow aloes, I highly recommend them. They just take very little water and they bloom, gorgeous blooms. And all the aloes, the different types that I have, bloom at different times in the spring and summer. And so I've got constant blooms from my aloes all year long. Now I've got a lot of work ahead of me, and here are the plants that I bought from the spring Master Gardener sale. And I'm excited to get these new salvias put in. I bought them the week before I left for Ireland, and my neighbor, Linda, babysat them for me. Thank you, Linda, so much. I really appreciate it, and they're in great condition. And I am happy to be putting those in the ground as soon as I figure out where to put them, because, oh my gosh, I just don't know where to place these. And it's really going to take some hard thinking and a good look around the garden to see where a good spot for those will be. So wish me luck on that. And hey, if you see anywhere in my garden where you think those salvias would look good, drop a comment below in the comment section of the video. Look at this beautiful bloom on the succulent. Isn't that gorgeous? I hope it kind of grows into a heart. Wouldn't that be cool? But man, that is just pretty. And the Mexican sage is a star in the garden right now. And look at that. Oh, gorgeous purples. Love the purples in the garden. By far the most work that I had in the garden this past week was taking out all of the annuals. It was a lot of work, and you can't tell now, but I really thinned through this a great deal. I had piles and piles and piles of annuals that I pulled, the cornflowers, flax, and poppies. And I want to move towards putting things like this African sage around the spiral and having less of the annuals, because it will be less work. Look how beautiful these are performing. I'm really excited about these. I've got 3, got them from the spring Master Gardener sale, and they're doing wonderfully. Love them. Want more? Oh yeah, I want more. This is what's left of the toad flax that needs to be removed in the spiral. I've gone through this week and I took all of my lavender and cut it back around the spiral. So that job's done. However, another job that I need to do is make tiebacks to keep this status in check, because oh my gosh, it's growing like crazy. But I love it. That purple is just stunning. And so great in cut flower arrangements. I love status. It's so good in flower arrangements because it lasts so long in a vase. And this week I also planted some desert sage. Now these are also plants I got from the spring Master Gardener sale. So I'm hoping they do well like the other plants that I've bought from them. They've all been really healthy plants and vigorous growers. So really excited. Hope these do well in the garden, especially in this spiral section, because I do want to start moving towards perennials in this section so it's less work. My goodness, every year this cactus patch blooms, and every year I'm just amazed at the blooms on it. Just beautiful backdrop for the garden. This is just one of the succulent containers that I have throughout the garden that I grab cuttings from to make other arrangements, and it's really handy to have. I have several of them in the garden, and I have a lot of fun with succulent arrangements. This red hot poker plant, let's look in here and see if there's any blooms coming yet. Not yet, but I'm telling you, when this thing does bloom, the bright orange with this combination of the aeonium next to it, really stunning. And the Mexican sage, it's a stunner right now. I'm telling you, when this thing is on, it's on fire. I have a little bit of sedum growing in here, the sedum joy, so that will be blooming later in the season. We're already in drought here in California, but the garden, considering, is doing really well. Again, it was only watered once a week. So all in all, it's not too bad after being gone and neglecting my garden for 3 weeks. And the future of the garden is really exciting. I am excited. And most important of all is thank you to all my subscribers and happy 2-year anniversary of Garden Discovery. Thank you so much.